This is actually the very first project I worked on, and this is just outside Ronald Provincial Park. This is where I needed to become comfortable using a herbicide in a wetland to control Phragmites. A really healthy crop of frag. There's the Vanna White of frag, Lindsay Bennett. That picture I think has gone viral. Nothing much in this wetland. So when it was sprayed, rolled, burnt. That was the next spring. The birders that were going down to Rondo were ecstatic. It was just full of migrating shorebirds coming through. This is really interesting. I did the assessment pre-post. There's Phragmites. We didn't get it all. You're never going to get it all the first year. So you have to keep going back. But if you were to go past that wetland today, it's restored. There's still a little bit of pockets here or there of Phragmites, which we go in and do touch up, but we basically were able to do it in a responsible manner, and the native plants came back and the wildlife came back. So we're taking that model and we're expanding on it. We're getting the local communities trained to do the long-term touch-up work. This is at Kettle and Stony Point First Nation. They did not want herbicide. So we said, can we just do a test plot for you? We donated our time, Frank and Darren and I. We did a 5-acre plot. That's the next growing season. And I did a sediment analysis of the glyphosate. I talked to them about how it breaks down microbes. And so now we're doing a full-on restoration project. They have a management plan in place. They have a trained staff to deal with the sparse stuff. That's Darren. That's their view of the lake at Kettle and Stony Point. We had to go through and assess that. So this is after it was sprayed, rolled, and burned. That was done in 2012. The water levels have prohibited us from actually doing our touch-up work, which is quite frustrating, to tell you the truth. But the whole shoreline is being restored wherever we can, working with water wells. There's a lot of projects going on in the landscape in Ontario. Some are really small, some are just using tarps. Some are massive, a larger scale, like the one that Nancy's going to talk about. There's no concerted effort in the province, though. Some of these folks are working in isolation. They're doing things that we know aren't appropriate or don't work. So this is my thinking. We are at a crossroad with this plant in the province. We just keep doing what we're doing, working in isolation, or we get a game plan together. And the game plan is province-wide. It's not within one municipality or a certain area. It's province-wide. And in my humble opinion, this is what we need. We need to get the spread vectors under control. It is a lot easier to control frag in a ditch than it is in a wetland. So we need to get OMAFRA involved. We need to get Ministry of Transportation involved. And we need to start cleaning up our roads. We have the right tools. We do not have the proper herbicides to do the job properly, environmentally responsibly. We need to get these here. And we need them yesterday. And we need, in certain situations, the ability to fly over with a helicopter. Because without that ability, we're not going to restore and protect Long Point wetlands or what's left in Rondo. We need to get our government to help us. What are they doing right now to help us with this plant? It's been recognized for over a decade that it's Canada's worst invasive plant. What's our federal government doing? Do our ministers know that this is a problem? We need funding. The Americans are supporting millions of dollars to help restore, protect their Great Lakes wetlands from Phragmites. How much is our federal government putting towards this issue? How much is our provincial government? And this is how it's going to work. It can't be mandated from the federal government, provincial government. It can't be their project because it's going to fail. It has to be communities like yourself that get the support you need, get the funding you need, get the proper information you need. It's your backyards, it's your communities, it's the areas you care about. Once you get the massive stuff under control or the small stuff under control, you're going to make sure it maintains that. And that's the only way it's going to work. It has not been done in the States, and they're just getting to that point now, realizing that this is not a one-time fix, that you have to be vigilant. And this is basically what I think you need. You need to have a plan. So you need to know, where is it in my community? Where are my community boundaries? Is it in a ditch? Is it in a wetland? Is it on a each, where is it, and how much do we have? And then knowing that, so what are our control options? What's available to us to control? When should we be going to control it? What's best? Who owns the land? Is it just my land? Is it a conservation authority land? Is it M&R land? Is it no man's land? And you need to find that out. And you need to get, that helps you build your partners. And then you know how much it's going to cost. Because you know where it is, and you know how to control it. You can give a ballpark. And so you can start going after funding. And you're not going to do it all in 1 year. So what's the high priority site? Where do we really need to get this under control? And then what do we do next year and the year after that? Let's get a game plan in place. And then who's going to be doing the work and who's going to be monitoring and making sure that once we get it under control, who's going to be watching to make sure that it maintains that? I just want to mention that we have a group in place. Frida mentioned this. And every year it gets bigger and bigger, which is wonderful. So lots of support. One of the products that some of our group members just put out is this, Smart Practices. And why I'm really excited about this is I brought this idea up with the folks from the Great Lakes Phragmites Collaborative in the States, and they said, oh, we need this. I said, okay, let's work together. I said, we'll put one together for Ontario, and then we'll share with you, and then we'll come up with a binational document. They loved it. We just sent it to them last week. Fantastic comments. Now we're waiting for our Ministry of Transportation to comment, and our Ministry of Natural Resources to comment before it can be sanctified. Regardless, it has great information in it. We know that, and we're happy to share it. And the information, actually brought a pamphlet. That's the type of information we want to get out to the counties and municipalities and the road crews. And this is actually a document that came out of from the Invasive Plant Council, and it basically talks about how to clean the equipment. It's pretty common sense. I just want to highlight this. So I've thrown a lot of information out, and this is the key. Don't ignore it. It's going to become a problem, and it's going to cost you a lot more money and time and effort to deal with it. And this is the message I have to get to our government. I need your support to get to our government. Because I'm being told by some folks, it's too bad, too far gone, we can't do anything, or we have no way to control it. There are lots of ways we can be controlling it right now with the tools we have. We can be doing a lot better with the tools that we need. I think this is our next flag. This is Miss Campus. They're growing it down in Leamington for biomass. I'm starting to see along the roads now. It's escaping from people's gardens. It's a pretty grass. So is Frag. This one's pretty, actually, if you travel 402 from Sarnia to London, you'll see it just taking off on that highway. Don't plant it around your cottage. There's a lot of folks, other folks I've been working with. I spend a lot of time in coastal areas. I see so much garbage. I see a lot of these foil balloons. People don't realize when they let these go where they end up. They end up in some really nice habitat. I've seen birds with these strings wrapped around them. Plastics. I don't know if you're aware of the issue with plastics in the Great Lakes right now. It's a serious issue. I'm seeing plastic everywhere where it shouldn't be. We need to take better care of our Great Lakes. Our Great Lakes aren't very great. That's my soapbox. That's it.